Hey runners, let's talk about how to save your knees, right? How to run with less impact, less stress, less damage and wear and tear, right? That's the most important part. So just for a second, let's talk about the knee, because it gets blamed, I think, for a lot. Running's bad for your knees. We just did a thing on squats. Squats are bad for your knees. Well, the reality is it really not. It's the incorrect movement that's hard on the joints, any joint. So you hear a lot like tennis elbow, right? Pitcher's elbow, right? Because if they're using their arm a lot, then they get inflamed around the area, so that's what hurts. So that's why we say our knees hurt when we run, things like that. That's where you're feeling the pain. It may not be where the pain is originating, because the knee itself is just a hinge joint. So the hamstring closes the leg, the hip and quad extend. So you've got close, open, close, open. The knee itself didn't really do anything. It just responded to the movement. So the hamstring, like I said, closes the leg, bringing that foot up. That's what we want for running. To extend forward, we're going to use quad and hip. So what we want to do for running is to let the quad and hip do its main job, which is support. So when you're standing, just standing, right now, what muscles are you working? You ever think about that? So when I'm just standing perfectly still, what muscles am I working? What active muscle contraction are you actually doing? And you probably really don't think about it, right? I'm standing. What am I doing? So first of all, feel, where am I body weight? Where do I feel the ground? Underneath your foot. So that's the first thing to start thinking about. I'm standing on my support. Where's my body weight? On my feet. Then you want to make sure, can I wiggle my toes? Are my feet free to move? Can my knees move? See, this is important because I'm going to be walking or running. So I want the ability for movement to be there. This is really important if your knees are extended or locked. So try it. Lock your knees. Notice the knee moves backwards. It's going this way. So think about that for running. I really would not want my knees to move backwards, because then try to run from here. It's very awkward. You've got to bend the knee. So if you leave them bent, first of all, that sends a nice signal to your brain that you're ready to move, that you want to move, that movement's going to happen. That's important, right? Movement is going to happen. And then you're allowing for movement to happen because you're telling your brain, I want movement to happen. So this is generally called the ready stance. Then the run action, like I said, comes from the hamstring, and what it does is it closes the leg. And this is the best part. This is called a involuntary muscular contraction. And that's important. Just like I said, when I'm standing, I'm not really thinking about contracting muscles, right? But if you actually stand correctly, right, my feet are solid, I've got my body weight on my feet, my knees are bent, and I'm holding my upper body lifted, as you are. So you are actually using muscles. You're using your postural muscles, your core muscles, your glutes are working. So things are working without you really talking to them. That's important to understand, right? And so when you're running, it's very similar because all of your muscles are working and running, all of them. So the active muscle, though, is the hamstring. So your job is to pull the foot up from the ground. So we practice this action, and what it does is two things. One is it encourages you to use the right muscle. It allows the quad and hip flexor to relax. So for just a second, when you're pulling your foot up, it's unweighted, there's no impact, this can relax. So it's like a break every step. So the muscle gets to rest, delays fatigue, and it's not working when it shouldn't. Really, impact and stress on the joint is for you taking body weight, especially we'll say running, pressing down. So as soon as I press down, there's a lot of tension in the quad, tension in the knee, foot, you name it, the whole lower leg. So if I press down and then use that pressure to bring my body forward and bring this leg forward, hip again, hip, 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 all on the knee, then I'm here. You still have to bring that foot up. So most of you guys are probably working 2 to 3 times more than necessary, and this is really important because any extra effort, any extra work is just going to add impact to the joint. Okay, so that's important. So now we'll talk about the pulling action, up. You are going to go up. I want to take my weight up. That's how I travel forward. So in place, it's like a piston. Pretend there's a metal rod in between your legs, and you simply pull the foot up. Keep both knees bent as you pull. So this is really neat. You practice that in place, the pulling action. Then practice running in place. So I just have to keep running, essentially, and getting yelled at. Hold on. So there we go. So I've practiced the action of the up. I understand why I'm pulling the foot. Now I'm going to practice with both feet. Here we go. Up, 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 up. So the best part is you practice the running action without running. And this is important because I'm standing here. So again, I've got that upper body lift. So these muscles are actually working right now while I'm standing, and I'm aware of it. I'm really focused on that. And then I can focus on using my hamstring to pull my foot. And this is great. I'll do my other side a little bit. We actually have a whole thing on the pull itself. And I want you to think about, if I work on the action I'm supposed to work on, I'm going to get better at the action of running, right? So then when you practice in place, again, everything's holded up. I'm going to simply pull my foot up. Up, 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 up. Just so you can feel the movement. Because running feels like running when you understand how to run, right? So then the next question becomes, how do I travel? How do you move your body forward? I'm actually working right now while I'm standing, and I'm aware of it. I'm really focused on that. And then I can focus on using my hamstring to pull my foot. And this is great. I'll do my other side a little bit. We actually have a whole thing on the pull itself. And I want you to think about, if I work on the action I'm supposed to work on, I'm going to get better at the action of running, right? So then when you practice in place, again, everything's holded up. I'm going to simply pull my foot up. Up, 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 up. Just so you can feel the movement. Because running feels like running when you understand how to run, right? So then the next question becomes, how do I travel? How do you move your body forward, right? And this is where people also get a little bit confused, is because if I take all that good work I did with my hamstring, and then I take my body weight and take it forward, there goes my knee, right? So it's important to understand that you have to pretend that you're always running in place. In your mind, you're always here in place, bent knees, pulling the foot up. Up, 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 up. Then you can understand how to go forward, which is called falling. And falling is all about lifting your torso. So if I lift my torso and keep my knees bent, you'll feel it. Lift your torso, watch, your body goes forward. You simply pull your foot. Isn't that neat? 50% less impact on the knee. There's a full study on this, by the way. It's Poe's method of running. You can practice the up action of the pull in place. You can actually practice running itself in place and feel it. If you pull in place, you should feel that it doesn't really hurt your knees. And by the way, everyone in place keeps their knees bent. That's why we encourage practicing. I use a mat. I teach on a mat. I do Zoom classes. When I watch people run, I have them practice in place and just start with like 3 steps. When you can do 3 steps, you can do 6, you can do 9, you can keep it going. But if you just start with the understanding of I'm supposed to do this and hold my body up, then start to pull in place so you can feel it. If it doesn't hurt to run right here in place, the pain should not start when you travel. So that's another important thing. If I can really feel that I can run in place and there's no pain, then I should be able to take it. And that's really something important. So there we go again. Remember, how do I travel? Lift your torso up and off you go. And we've got a free 3-2-1 run on the app that will actually give you a little bit more detail on how to implement that into your run. But really knowing I can run with less stress, with less impact. You're going to use your hamstring, you'll use elasticity. I highly recommend doing the 3-2-1 run so you can practice some of the drills that go with it. But it is so freeing to know I don't have to go get special equipment. I don't have to really do anything. I simply have to practice keeping my knees bent, holding my torso up and doing that run action. And then off you go to enjoy your run. Thanks so much for watching. If you've subscribed, thank you. If you haven't, we'd love for you to subscribe, share with your friends. Our goal is just to get everybody running pain-free. Thank you, guys. Gosh, okay.